Alternatives to Guardianship and the Promise of Supported Decision-Making. The American Civil Liberties Union and the Center for Excellence for Developmental Disabilities at the University of California, Davis, Mind Institute, have created this series of videos to help individuals with disabilities, families, advocates, lawyers, and doctors understand some of the dangers of guardianship and conservatorship and the potential promise of supported decision-making. If you watch this series, you've already seen Jonathan Martini's introduction to supported decision-making, as well as the 5 concerns about guardianship and conservatorship. In this, the third video, we will provide more concrete information and examples of what supported decision-making is and how it works. The final video in this series is a step-by-step guide to implementing supported decision-making. What supported decision-making is and why it matters. Supported decision-making is an alternative to guardianship that allows a person with a disability to choose trusted advisors to help the person understand, make, or communicate their own choices. While people under guardianship have someone else making choices for them, people using supported decision-making have people helping them make their own choices. Supported decision-making avoids many of the problems of guardianship.
Supported decision-making is a philosophy that allows trusted supporters to provide support to people to make their own decisions. People are experts in their own experience, and people do best and thrive when they have control over their life and when they can make choices. People with disabilities, including people with intellectual disabilities and cognitive disabilities, are no different than anybody else. We all want to make decisions for ourselves. Sometimes supporters can provide useful information, but they don't always know what's going on the inside. They can only go by their observations. So with supported decision-making, people can tell what's going on in their own lives and what their own priorities are. Many people are already engaged in supported decision-making relationships, even if they don't call it by that name.
So Christopher, we've known each other more than 10 years. I've been your parent for 10 years, and you came up through the foster care system. And so what do you like about being an adult and being able to make your own decisions?
Well, for one, you could actually choose the people, that you feel that are in your team and, that are really there to support you and not take advantage of you, unlike foster care in the system.
Colleen Sonneborn, an attorney who handles guardianships and conservatorships, had a client whose family was seeking a conservatorship.
After meeting with this proposed conservatee, it was clear that she had the ability to engage in alternatives to a conservatorship. Both of the parents decided to withdraw the petitions and chose to go with these alternatives that were available to them and to their daughter. It also put the power back in her hands to make decisions where if the conservatorship was established, the parents would have been in control of decision-making things such as what her education would look like, what her social and sexual contacts would be, who would have the ability to make healthcare decisions for her, and financial decisions and contracting.
So with supported decision-making, you can get support for the decisions you need support for, but if you can make your decision and don't need support, you can make decisions on your own without support if you don't need it. And most people with disabilities can make some decisions, but not others at different points in time.
Who can use supported decision-making? Supported decision-making is a good option for people with a wide variety of disabilities. People with disabilities who need assistance in understanding, making, or communicating choices, but who can, with help, make decisions themselves, are good candidates for supported decision-making.
Making a choice means understanding your options, the risks and benefits of each option, weighing them against each other, and communicating a choice. People can have difficulties with any part of that process. Sometimes people need support to understand their options or the risks and benefits. Sometimes people need support to weigh them against each other to help understand how that process works. Some people need help with communication so that they can communicate their choices.
Types of support. help with understanding and communicating information. A supporter can provide a broad range of supports to an individual with a disability. A supporter might provide information to a person with a disability, such as simplified explanations or research. A supporter might also help a person with a disability express their choice or ensure the choice is understood and respected.
Sometimes when I'm explaining what supported decision-making is to a doctor, I use the example of a cultural broker or a language translator. The person is there to provide support, to support the communication, to make sure that things are understood, but they're not there to take over your relationship with your patient or to make decisions for them.
In my view, I think my son is now matured enough and understands his decisions and understands explanations that he would be a nice candidate for supported decision making. His doctors feel that they can explain to him in a way he understands and that he could actually give consent is the impression that they give me. And so he, with just a little additional explanation for a person there who understands his language to clarify the meaning of any jargon, or put it in language that he understands. With that kind of help, I think he'd be very capable of deciding what he wants and doesn't want.
Types of support. Identifying options. A supporter might help a person with a disability identify and consider their options.
Rachel really enjoyed working with the realtor. And that was another way that it was a great relationship with finding the right realtor. And
he enjoyed working with her.
He enjoyed working with Rachel, and Rachel probably saw 8, 9, 10 different apartments, and you gave Jason a lot of feedback, right? When you were, he would know right away whether you liked it or you didn't like it.
Types of support. Evaluating the costs and benefits of the options. The supporter could provide advice, help the person make lists of pros and cons, and remind the decider about their values and preferences.
And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to live down there. It's disgusting down there. 6th Street. And she was like, look, weigh the pros and cons. It's gonna be accessible building. It's gonna have rolling showers. So think about it. You can't take a bath now. You have to take bad baths. Even though this is a better location, at least you'll be able to get in and out of your apartment by yourself. When the place opened, we went down there to look at the apartment and see which one we wanted. And I was like, okay, I'm not going outside at night. This is sketchy, but I can live here. And so that's been since '97.
Claudia nudges me in the right way and gives me her input, and I listen. I might not necessarily act on it, but I do listen.
Types of support. Providing reminders and help with appointments. The supporter might help the person with a disability set up, remember, and get to appointments, meetings, or work. The supporter might also attend meetings and appointments with the person with a disability.
Like this weekend, I gotta put it on the iPad. I just got free tickets to go to the River Cats this weekend.
So you're gonna put on the iPad on your calendar, so you remember, okay?
Yep.
Rachel, when you came to visit us last night, did your staff help you put your allergy pill in the baggie for you? Yeah. So they give you a little bit of help, but then you remember to take it.
Types of support. Communication. The supporter might also provide communication support, making sure the person has enough time to think about and make a choice, and that the choice is understood and respected. When does it make sense to try supported decision-making?
Supported decision-making is a good alternative to a more restrictive limited conservatorship. And aspects of supported decision-making should be considered prior to any petitions being filed for conservatorship.
Supported decision-making should be the first option that parents, families, and individuals with disabilities start thinking about as they're nearing 18. And I think that all of us who support young adults, teenagers and young adults in that process should be knowledgeable about supported decision-making. We should know kind of what the process is, who can help them develop and walk through how to make that decision. And rather than having the choice initially be presented as, well, most people choose conservatorship or guardianship. There's this other thing called supported decision-making. I think we have to flip that around and start with, let's think and talk about supported decision-making and whether that might fit for you and your family.
Supported decision-making is simply a way to describe how everyone makes decisions every day, getting information and advice to make our own choices. Supported decision-making will look different for everyone, depending on their preferences, needs, and abilities. The types of support and who provides the support will also change over a person's lifetime. We hope this video has given you an idea of what supported decision-making looks like. The next video will take you through a step-by-step guide to implementing supported decision-making.